Laughing Vikings Live. High vibe chats with actors, comedians, and creators, plus stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, and most importantly, you. That's right, join us every Monday for new episodes, and you can be a part of the show on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. Ask questions and interact in the comments, and make sure to share this with your actor, comedian, and creator friends so they can be a part of the show too. Can't make a live show? No problem. You can catch up on your favorite podcast platform and visit laughingvikings.com to find out how you can join the cast and crew. All right, it's time for today's show. Buckle up and make sure you stick around to the end because we have a special surprise for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Laughing Vikings Live. Happy Monday Fun Day. Let's go.
Hello.
Well, hello there. It is me, Blurry Lars. No, I'm clear. Here we are. Episode 76. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. BK Broiler, how you doing in the back room?
I am very tired, but I am very excited to be here at LVHQ, and I'm very excited to get this podcast underway.
Yeah, BK Broiler's been burning the candle at both ends. He's had early sessions in the mornings and late night sessions.
Yes.
I just got him a night coffee, and he still doesn't have it. So listeners at home, if you hear snoring at some point, viewers, if you see him nodding off, I told him to put on some sunglasses. So if he does fall asleep, he can just keep a smile and then just be sitting there asleep. Well, I'm sending you energy.
With my eyes open, Lars. I've trained myself to do that, as every actor should.
Yeah, that's
sleep
creepy,
with one eye open.
Creepy as fuck is what that's called right there.
Yeah.
Like this, I can do.
You gotta commit to the bit, Lars.
Like this.
Yeah, exactly like that. Doesn't it feel great?
How was your sleep? Oh, very restful.
Oh, it was very restful.
Very restful.
Look how restful that is.
Yes. Yes. Well, welcome everyone to episode 76. 76. We're getting up there. You just said we're now closer to 100 than we are to 50.
Yes, we are.
We're well on our way to triple dig.
Ooh,
we're in
baby.
triple dig podcast territory here. And we got another great one today. There's lots of stuff happening in the Laughing Vikings Actors Audition Club world. And the first thing that I want to unveil here, Brandon, I have a little surprise for you. Do you like surprises?
For me? I love surprises. What is it?
Mm-hmm. Check it out. Well, so you see this.
Is it
You see this beautiful graphic behind me, right? Of Actors Audition Club. Shout out to our graphic designer who did this for us. Nice little movie poster style. Well,
I love that.
Check it out.
What?
Boom.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Nice movie poster sign. I got two of them. There's already one out on the sidewalk. Nice. Because as we talked about last week, we've had a lot of people and they're like, how did you hear about us? And they're just like, I was wandering down the street day after day, week after week, kept wondering what the heck this place was, saw the sign. And in Ace of Base glory, I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign, never gonna give you up. So here it is, beautiful, made with real plastic chloral board or something like that.
God, I love to hear the sound of plastic.
Shout out to our sign guy, MrSigns.ca. You can check them out. Not a sponsor, but they always book I always use them. Mr. Signs, which reminds me of Mr. Plow from
I was just thinking that.
Mr. Signs, that's my name. That name again is Mr. Signs.
Mr. Signs.
Yes. Yeah, good old some good old fashioned real life. This is not a meme or a GIF or an NFT. This is a real live thing. You can touch it. You can smell it. Plastic. You can bite it. This is legit right here.
Yeah, that real plastic taste.
Pretty good. Yeah, I have It's extremely carcinogenic, so I might have to see a doctor now. But yeah, feels good though.
Nice.
Feels good. All right, so you will notice our new signs if you're walking down our Toronto location here at Queen and Broadview. You'll see that beautiful new sign. You've probably seen that graphic before today, but yeah, we got to roll it out fresh.
And if you see that sign while you're passing by Queen and Broadview in Toronto, Ontario, maybe you take a picture of that sign and you tag Laughing Vikings or Actors Audition Club, and maybe you get something out of that.
Ooh, I like what you're thinking there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's great. We put it out there. Take a picture of our sign and tag us. We'll throw you in a draw for some Comedy Alley tickets. How about that?
Ooh, nice. I like that. And while we're at it,
speaking of comedy, is that what you're going to say?
Speaking of tagging us and stuff, why don't you subscribe to the podcast? Or you can find us on all podcast platforms. You can also be found on YouTube at Laughing Vikings. We can also be found on Instagram at Laughing Vikings and Actors Audition Club. So please subscribe to our podcast. Give us a like. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe even send us an email at lol@laughingvikings.com. We'd love to hear from you.
And why would you do that? If you're an actor who's struggling with self-submit auditions, you would do that. If you're looking to step into your dream role in 2022, you're looking to up-level your acting career, that's why you would want to do that. This podcast is loaded with interviews from actors, from industry professionals, talking a lot about auditions. We talk about everything in the acting world and in the industry and also in the comedy industry. But we load a lot of that onto auditions because everybody knows until you're an A-lister, how you get jobs is you got to audition and fight for them. So the better you are at fighting for those and the better you are at auditioning, the better your career is going to be. So make sure to do that. And we should, let's plug, what were you going to say?
But speaking of comedy,
well, I was going to say, okay, yes. So we're going to go back. Believe it or not, we sometimes have a show order for this, but then stuff happens. You say things and you all of a sudden the order is out of order because of a perfect segue. Like, speaking of comedy, we should plan an episode where everything is the perfect segue. And we'll call the episode The Perfect Segue.
I am a self-proclaimed segue king. Did I not tell you that?
Yes. Yes.
Segue actor. I like that.
So this weekend we had a fantastic show. It was our return to live comedy at a live venue up in Bracebridge, Ontario. Beautiful Muskoka cottage country, about 2 hours north of Toronto. And I was Laughing Vikings was co-producing. I was the host and MC of the show for Eric Johnson's Run with the Bull tour. You can see him in episode 74. It's a brilliant episode, really inspiring, especially if you're a self-starter and you want to learn how to really create your own opportunities in your career rather than waiting for a gatekeeper to give you an opportunity. And it was a killer show. And the other cool thing about it is we are restriction-free. This is now March 1st. There is no restrictions in venues anymore. Golden. Fun is allowed, ladies and gentlemen. No more restrictions on fun. You're allowed to have as much fun as you want, and you can pack as many people into the venue as fire ordinance will allow. So throw as many people into a building as possible that is still safe if and when it becomes on fire. You got to be able to get those people out of there. But you don't have to worry about sneezes and sniffles and coughing and viruses and pandemics and all that bullshit because we have... Not that it's bullshit. It's a real thing. I don't want to come across as someone who doesn't believe that this was a horrible thing for everybody. It has been terrible, but we're fucking sick of it. And it's time to get back to fun. And it felt so good to be back in a venue where it was felt normal again, quote unquote normal. Nothing's normal because we've also slipped into the edges of a global conflict right now. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to focus on the good today. And we're going to focus on having fun. And hopefully we won't have a nuclear bomb dropped on us.
Do you have any highlights from the Bracebridge show you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, the highlight for me was my dad was there as well. So that was really cool. I got to, quote unquote, pick on them a little as the Citizen of the Year. So I did a nice little bit about his winning Citizen of the Year. got to bring him into the show. At the end, he came up to me and he was like, "Oh, geez, you bring me so much into the show. I guess I got to start working on my own 5-minute bit so I can be a part of the show if you're going to highlight me that much." So maybe he's got the stand-up bug. The main thing, it's a beautiful venue, Bracebridge Hall. Shout out to Keith and Mike up there. You can check them out at bbhall.ca or Bracebridge Hall on Instagram when you're in the Muskoka area. Eric was amazing as the headliner. We had Brad Bryans as a feature opener as well. So the show top to bottom was super fun. Audience loved it. The venue loved it. Everyone was back out there. It was a Sunday night too, and normally they're closed on Sunday nights. So it was a night where a venue, after getting the shit kicked out of them during a pandemic as a live music and live entertainment venue hall, we were able to deliver a great show on a night that they would have been dark otherwise. So they were super grateful for that. Everybody got paid. Everyone had lots of fun. Nice. It was the greatest night of their lives post-pandemic, now that restrictions have been lifted. And stay tuned for more too. So make sure that you're following Laughing Vikings so that as we're releasing new shows and new show dates at venues all over the place, in person and also virtual shows, that you can get tickets to those. Yes. What else do we want to talk about? Audition Hero. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for those of you on the call and on the show, by the way, you're live watching right now. Let us know in the comments. It's a very interactive show. So let us know in the comments right now, what city are you watching from? Give us a little shout out, say hello. If you're an actor and you have any questions, anything you're struggling with, anything you need help with, anything you need some advice with, or anything in general you want to share with us, fire that into the comments throughout the show. And if you got any suggestions for future shows and future episode topics, feel free to throw that in there. But if you missed our live 3-part training series called Audition Hero, where you were able to step into your dream role as an audition hero, we did that at the tail end of January, early February. Yes. But if you missed that, do not fret, my actor friends. You can go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero. You can register and get instant access to the replays. We're giving away the replays for the entire 3-day event. So it's it's probably close to 6 hours of training where we were helping people and coaching people on how to step into their dream role in 2022 by adopting that audition hero mindset. So we talked a lot about the hero's journey. We talked about building your own hero's mindset. We talked about improving your systems and processes as it pertains to auditions. So what to do from the point that you get an audition to recording it professionally to get your best foot forward. And we also talked a lot about joining and building your own community of like-minded actors and artists and performers so that you have support and you're not having to do this career as a lone wolf anymore. And you can get all of that training. You can access it for free, an entire 3-day event. We went live. What did we do? An hour and a half to 2 hours every day. We went live. Lots of Q&A, lots of success stories from our members, including our 3 Audition Hero winners of our Audition Hero contest. The grand prize winner, Adam Daniel Mazet, and second place winner was Jareen Ignatius. And our third place winner was Shaquille James Hostin. So shout out to them. You can see their testimonials and their success story on how up-leveling their auditions has really helped their career in this past year. And you can do that at laughingvikings.com/audition hero, because everyone knows the world needs more heroes, especially right now. So you can go there right now. But what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about how do I find out what's shooting in my city, Lars?
Right. Okay. So here's the deal. This is the reason we wanted to talk about this. The studio has been heating the F up. We have started to get week over week, very, very busy with not only Zoom audition sessions where we connect with people remotely via Zoom to help them record and submit their own professional auditions, but our physical studio here in Toronto has also been very busy. And that's a function of new projects and new productions either coming back from the Christmas break or just starting a new season or a new pilot season being filmed. It always slows down from December to like mid-December to middle to the end of January. Things get a little slow industry-wise, but now they have been heating up. That's why Brandon's so tired, because he's doing sessions at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., sometimes up until 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and I don't think he sleeps. So I just I pump him full of coffee and somehow
send him back into the room.
Somehow he's still standing. So as a result of that, and I know as an actor, sometimes the most frustrating thing to hear, especially when you're not getting auditions, you hear like, oh, it's so busy. Oh, it's really busy right now. Oh, it's really busy. And then you're like, well, it doesn't seem busy because I haven't had an audition in a little while. So there's something that you can be doing proactively as an actor, and that's actively seek out and find out what productions are shooting in your city. And that's a very easy thing to do. You heard of a thing called Google?
No.
Am I pronouncing it right? Google?
I believe it is Google, yes.
Google, yeah, like Michael Bublé. Mm-hmm. You can Google it. Yeah. I believe it's spelled Google, Google, with an accent aigu over the E, Google. Yeah, like, and we were joking before this too, Brandon. I feel like fucking Google is the answer to anything. Like, if you were going to ask a human something, it's like, shouldn't you just have asked the algorithm first? Like, sometimes I get frustrated. People ask me for directions. I'm like, why the fuck are you asking me for directions? There's a supercomputer that knows exactly what's happening in real time everywhere and can pinpoint it to the meter or to the foot where you need to be and where you want to go. And you're asking a human, like, oh, once you pass the train tracks, you've gone too far. Look for the big tree and the pink sign. It's like, no, ask the algorithm. So you can ask Google, go into Google, type in your city, type in what shooting or films that are shooting in my city. And another great resource, depending on what country you're in, your acting union. In Canada, it's ACTRA. In the States, it's SAG-AFTRA. Mm-hmm. So they all have websites. And in all those cities, there will be a page. Often it's also, the other spot is your municipality's website itself. So your city's website, they have a film permit section. Oh. And often it's just there. They list all of the productions, whether it's TV, whether it's film, when the shoot starts, when it ends, based on the permits. I know on the ACTRA website, it often lists who the casting director is as well. Yep. It often lists who the background casting director is as well. Mm-hmm. So why is that important? Well, you want to be working. So if you're sitting around being like, well, why am I getting auditions? Meanwhile, there's millions and millions and billions of dollars being pumped into the film industry right in your backyard, unbeknownst to you, maybe. Go on that website, figure out what's shooting, and you can look at some of those shows and be like, man, that's the show that I always wanted to get on. I'd be great for that show. Maybe something about you, like, say it's a period piece and there's a lot of horseback riding or sword fighting, and you're an expert in equestrian and you're an expert in stage combat and sword fighting, then that's maybe a show you'd want to get on. So you find that out. If you have an agent, then you send them an email, say, hey, I noticed show XYZ is in town. That's one of my dream shows. Can we make a pitch to this casting director and figure out how to get me an audition and get me in the door? Again, under the heading of decide what you want and say yes to that, and then go out and fight for that and say no to the things that you don't want. Mm-hmm. And you don't get a whole lot in life just by sitting on your hands waiting for somebody to email you to give you an opportunity. So don't wait for a gatekeeper to open the gate. Just kick down the fucking door or go around the side, find a window, dig a tunnel under the building, hook yourself up with a grappling hook, or hop a helicopter ride and just jump out of the helicopter and land on the roof. Whatever you need to do. And
whatever it takes
to do it is just Google it. You could just Google it. But yeah, find out what's shooting in your city and then literally go through every casting director and figure out with your agent, if you do have an agent, figure out what relationships you have and say, oh, I noticed she hasn't seen me for this. Have you submitted me for it? Maybe your agent says, yes, I have submitted you and we haven't got the call yet. Or maybe she says, oh crap, you know what? I hadn't submitted you for that. Let's do it. And she puts a little extra pitch, and a couple days later, you're submitting a self-tape, and booking the role of your dreams. Now, if you're unrepresented, then you got to be a little more creative there. So if you don't have an agent, you find out what is shooting in your area. Maybe you can find out who the producers are. Maybe you do find out the casting directors, and you send a very polite pitch of yourself, like, hey, I noticed that this is shooting in my area. I'm an actor. Here's my resume. Here's my demo. This is one of the shows I wanted to work on. You got to be tactful with that, but certainly you don't want to not do anything out of fear, like, oh, what if I ruffle the wrong feathers? Well, you're not getting the audition anyways if they don't know you exist. So you might as well take a shot. Just be smart about that, how you do that, so that you don't come across as a crazy person. And then be a little persistent too. So if you don't get an answer, maybe a month or two later, you send another update. Say, hey, I just wanted to reach out again. I hope the casting is going great for season 2 of XYZ show. Wanted to give you an update. I got a live theater performance updating, or that's coming out next week. Here's a pair of tickets for you and a loved one to come check it out. Also, I was on this show a few weeks ago and it came out. Here's a new clip. Would love an opportunity to read for an upcoming role in XYZ show. However you do it is a little up to you, and that's debatable. But the main thing is be doing something rather than waiting for things to happen and lamenting why it's not happening.
Yeah, and because then you can study the things that are shooting in your area, so that way you know what the tone is, what kind of tropes do they like to use, like how can I navigate my way through what's shooting in my area right now, so that way when you get that audition, you're ready to go and you're already prepped for that because you already have it in your mind. Okay, I've done my research. I've done my homework on this. Now I can go in, feel good about myself, and just do the audition, feel really great about my choices, and send it off, knowing that I've done all that other work before even filming it. So It's always a good idea to have that knowledge, because knowledge is power, of what is shooting in your area.
Right. Knowledge is power if acted upon. That's the little addendum to knowledge is power.
That's a good ending for that.
Knowledge on its own is debatably worthless. Knowledge is power if it's then executed on or implemented, or like fitness, for example. Yeah, everyone knows move more, eat better food, you're going to be healthier. But knowing that is not enough. You actually have to eat good food, and then you got to move your body a little bit. Yes. What was I going to say? Yeah. So that in that example, maybe you find out that there is a period piece that's shooting and it's British accents. So maybe you bone up on your British RP accent, or whatever the accent may be, or if it's certain skills, or if your real thing is like military tactical stunts and fights and things like that, and you find out that a show like The Boys or something more action oriented, Titans, for example, then you figure out where your skill set matches what's shooting, and then you can really make a full pitch at it. Just like when you get a breakdown from your agent, should be looking at who the producers are, who the writers are, who the directors are, who the casting director is. Watch a few episodes so you start to figure out the world and the tone, so that you don't ever miss a massive opportunity just because you hadn't figured out the tone of the show. For example, a great example, which if you didn't get this, you would blow your audition. Often they'll tell you in the breakdown if it's something special, but the show C that I did the day on with Jason Momoa's show, everyone except for 2 characters does not have their sight. So everyone is visually impaired. So if you walked in and you're in an audition, you're actively using your eyes and doing hand gestures that someone with sight would see, right away the casting director is going to be like, this person has no idea what they're auditioning for. They don't understand the world. They have never seen it, and they're not going to bring you in because your audition is not going to make any sense. So they're gonna be like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would we ever have you? So do your research, and make things happen. And the other part where this falls into is the idea of manifesting things. When there's things that you really want, the more energy you put towards them, even saying them out loud, writing them down, that hour or two that you're spend researching I'm a believer that that's planting these seeds into the universe, and things then can magically start to align, where the next thing you know, you are getting that audition for this dream show. Or maybe you even take it one step farther. You look at that show and you find old scripts online. Maybe you find an old monologue and you're working on a monologue from that show. Someone, Erin Reed in our class today, she did a monologue from Succession. It's a show she loves. She really liked the monologue. Sometimes there's a caveat of working on things that are too popular or too mainstream, but the monologue she took, it was great and she crushed it. And that's something that could get her closer to that world in real life, where all of a sudden she's getting an audition because she's putting specific energy towards the Succession world. So never underestimate the power of actually doing something instead of just waiting and wondering, how come I'm not getting an email from Hollywood? How come Doc Hollywood? How come
could they not have discovered me yet?
Yeah, I go to a coffee shop and sit there every day, and not one Hollywood producer has noticed me. Yeah, make it happen. And we do that a lot less in Canada, I think, because we're so polite, and we feel like sometimes it's rude or cocky, or you don't want to cross that line of being confident to being cocky and, what will people think? Man, it's your life. So you got to decide what you want. And if you're more concerned about people looking at you from the outside and thinking, oh, that guy, he's too this or that, versus being concerned about what you want in your real life, you're going to have an unhappy life, because you're going to spend all your time worrying about what other people think of you, and not a whole lot of time figuring about what do you want in your life and how do you go out and fight for it until you get it, without hurting other people. Obviously, I'm not talking like fight. I'm talking fight with your heart and your head and your hips.
So not this whatsoever.
I mean, it's probably not going to get you very far. What are you going to do? Go fight a casting director or go fight a producer? Hey, you, give me a role. I wouldn't fight anyone. Do not fight anyone. That, yeah. We're talking metaphorically fighting. Although it is, I mean, I guess it's a real fight. It's
a real fight.
It's not fist fight. It's not physical fight.
Yeah, it's not physical.
Emotional. It's energy. It's time. Fight with your time. Fight with your emotions. Yeah. We are not. Anyone watching this, right? Lars said, just go punch people. Lars says, fight for what you want.
That's what I'm taking away from this.
I take that away from it. Lars says, just go punch people in the face, and then things start happening. No. Make love, not war. We're definitely not warmongers or fight mongers. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love all day long.
Yes.
Sha-la-la-la.
La-la-la-la.
Now we want to talk, as things are getting busy here. We've got a ton of new members here at the studio, new regulars coming on a weekly basis and multiple times per week. There's several of our members that we see them, like it feels like we see them every day or every second day. So we want to do a little recap on what we offer here at Actors Audition Club through Laughing Vikings, and how to book an audition session. So Brandon, you're going to fire up the website. So this is any of you, if you're struggling with any self-submit auditions, you need a hand. We help actors rehearse and record professional auditions without tech troubles, without having to bug your family and friends, so that you can book more roles in TV and film. So you can go to clickety-clack, laughingvikings.com. If you don't know where the website is, you can use your friend Google and Google it. Right here on the website, this is the desktop version you're on. Looks slightly different on mobile, but you'll be able to figure it out. You'll see those buttons next to member login. You can book a Zoom audition or a studio audition. Now, if you were in one of our cities with a physical studio, you'd book the studio audition. Or if you, we're going to book the Zoom session today. So let's say for our international friends, shout out to Pippa in the UK, or members in the States. You got to book a Zoom, or not even people in the States, people who are just in Toronto that don't want to trek an hour and a half across the town in the middle of rush hour, and you have a good home setup. We'll connect with you via Zoom, and we'll work with you remotely, record the session, then we'll snip it together, send it to you, your agent, so that really all you got to do is turn on your computer and then act and hopefully take some redirects if we have any ideas creatively for you. So Brandon, you're going to walk us through booking an audition session. Let's see how long this takes. It's 6:30 right now. So let's click on that button. Brandon wants to book a Zoom audition session. So he goes to choose an appointment, and it's already there since he said book audition session. And you're a member, right?
Yep.
You're a member.
So I booked an hour-long member session.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to pick this handsome guy over here, Brandon Knox.
Oh, nepotism. So you pick the session director first. Then you pick the date and time. Our general hours are between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m., but all of our session directors keep different hours. They're all working actors themselves, which means sometimes they're on set, sometimes they're auditioning themselves, sometimes they're out of town on shoots, and sometimes they're just vacationing, having fun. But generally between 8 a.m. and 11 p.m., we can accommodate you. So Brandon is going to pick a spot for tomorrow. Nice, bright and early, 9 a.m. And real simple. So you hop in there, fire your information in, your name, your phone number, your email. And then this is the fun part to help us out and to make sure that we're prepared when you get here, and also to make sure that we know what to do with your files when they arrive. All that Zoom audition session info. Let us know how many scenes are in your audition sides so that we know what we're dealing with. Is this a 4-scene monster where you're going to be leading the feature film, or is this just one quick scene in a commercial? Do you need a slate? Yes or no? Most times the answer is yes, but check that button so that the session director knows at the end of the session they got to grab a slate. Throw in your character name. This is for the file. So it's going to be, we would name it Brandon Knox /Donnie. What's the email that you want the file sent to? So what we generally do is we email it to your agent and to you. We usually use WeTransfer. Every once in a while, we have special links, or they want it through a special Dropbox link or something special, and we can accommodate that too. But you could put your agents, your managers in there, always your email, and then you can upload the sides directly. If you don't have the sides, or you're not able to do this right away when you're booking, that's okay. When you arrive and or connect with your Zoom audition session director, you can always file transfer it that way. But you'd upload your sides. And the great thing about that is then your session director, if they do have time ahead of time, they can peruse them in advance and maybe start to get an idea for how the setup might be, or whether you're going to be sitting or standing, or what a moment before might be. Just generally creative ideas can start flowing if we're looking at scripts. If you had a coupon or a package code, you could enter it there, and then you can pay online via credit card or PayPal. So really simple. So you'd hit that button, bam, and it would be a done deal. We won't make you pay for this one right now, Brandon.
Perfect.
This one's but that's it. So that was in under 3 minutes. And I don't know about you, Brandon, but when I used to get self-tape audition sessions before Laughing Vikings was started, it would be not 3 minutes. It would be an entire weekend of me thinking not only about the scene itself and about learning the lines and learning the scene and rehearsing it, but it was also going to be, who am I going to get to do this? Where am I going to set it up? Who am I going to bug to be my reader? And then so I would spend 72 hours over the weekend of anxiety and stress thinking about how am I going to get this done? Whereas now what I do is I get an email from my agent with an audition request. I'm like, fuck yeah, great. And then I go, boop, bop, beep, bop, boop. Just like Brandon just did. That's the sound my phone makes. Beep, boop, bop, beep, beep, boop, boop. And 3 minutes later or less, I have the session booked. I booked it well in advance. I got plenty of advance time. Now I've got a few days to work on it. I hopefully booked it a little in advance of the deadline, so you're not leaving it last minute. But just FYI, typically the agent and the actor has their audition file within about 15 minutes of the end of the session. Generally, our sessions are an hour long, and that allocates about 45 minutes for on camera, and then that last 10 or 15 minutes for us to snip it together and email it to you. So really, by the hour, by the end of the hour, or a few minutes afterwards, it's where it needs to be. So it's just done. And that's what a lot of our regulars, what they rave about is not having to think about it. They just go into autopilot mode. They get an audition. They book the session. They show up. They have fun. If it's via Zoom, they show up via Zoom. They have fun over a Zoom session, get a bunch of creative ideas and redirects. And to have second eyes on something is great too, because you can figure out, like, Maybe your eye lines need to be tighter.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a beat in the scene that you're missing, that you're not quite grasping.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it may be, you're getting that extra help, so that we help people wherever you come in to the audition. If your audition is here, we're hoping to get you a few notches up. And that's just the idea of two brains are better than one, right? 1 plus 1 does not equal 2, it equals 3. When it comes to humans putting their brains and especially putting their creativity together. So it's that easy. It's no stress. It's like we've been talking about it for a lot, and it's still only been 6 minutes.
Yep.
Right? 6 minutes and zero stress. So that's how you get it done. Were you going to say anything else about that?
Well, it's just when people show up, like there's the exchange of energy, right? Like you get that feeling of relief of, I don't have to worry about doing this technical side. All I need to do is focusing on the thing that I love. And really what you're paying for when you come to Laughing Vikings is a peace of mind that A, you're going to get a great tape out of it. B, you're going to do your best work. And C, you don't have to worry about any of the technical aspects or that it's being sent off to your agent, because we'll do that for you and make sure that it gets there.
And D, you won't ruin any of your family or friendship relationships or spouse relationships by spending a fucking horrid, awful afternoon trying to figure out how to get your grandma or your uncle or your wife or husband to properly read, where they don't want to do it because they're not an actor and they're feeling all self-conscious, and you don't want to be yelling at them and trying to give them redirects because they're not an actor. Relationship stuff can get into that as well. So now all of a sudden you're not having an audition about an acting scene. You're having an audition about pet peeves that the two of you have about each other.
Yeah.
Or if it's a non-supportive family member or spouse, that session could end up devolving to, why are you even doing this right now? Are you still wanting to be an actor? And that is like awful. So guarantees, when you're working with us, you're going to get someone who's supportive, who's constructive, who's cheering you on, who wants you to get your best take. And we do, and a lot of people have said it, the experience here is that we treat auditions like they're our own, because we know the importance of it. And there's no better time to be an actor. There's more money being dumped into the film industry than ever before. There's more productions that are shooting, and you're only ever one audition away from your life changing. Your entire life can change in a heartbeat. So you want to make sure when you do get these huge opportunities that, to the best of your abilities, you're cashing in on them and never leaving an audition wondering, or never submitting an audition wondering like, oh man, like that could have been better. I wish that, I mean, it could always be a little better to a certain degree, but you want to know at that moment, it was my best at that time, and not walking away. And that's a bit of a self-sabotage thing, or a little bit of fear of success, where if you're not doing your best, you can always fall back on that. Your ego, when you don't book it, your ego can fall back on, well, yeah, of course I didn't book it, but that wasn't my best anyways. So like, yeah, okay. Which is a terrible way to think of it. You want to be thinking, yeah, that was 100% my best. And if I didn't book it, it had nothing to do with me. That was my best. So if they wanted me, they would take it. If they don't want me, fine. But yeah, the worst thing is thinking like, oh, I didn't prep enough, or technically that didn't look good, or is my grandma reading going to distract them, and the camera's shaky and it's a shitty setup and the lighting sucks. Are they even going to watch the whole thing in that case? And you definitely don't want that.
Because you also don't want to get an email from your agent saying, you have to redo this, your reader was terrible. And you have to go to grandma and say, grandma, they need you to be better.
Right.
Like, grandma's not going to want to do it after that.
Yeah. And your grandma's like, I just want to bake you a fucking apple pie. I don't want to have to be a mercenary killer behind the camera here.
Yeah, because then you're spending all your time convincing grandma to be great in acting, which she has no interest in.
Right. It's also just valuing your own time too.
Yeah.
Sometimes people, they'll balk at investing into auditions, but it's like, okay, you could save the money, but if it takes you triple the amount of time to do it at home, because you got to move all your lamps and you got to clear the dining room table and take the picture off the wall and spend a laborious afternoon coaching your reader to deliver it in a way that's not brutal to you, then you just got to look like this whole system is backwards. And again, you mentioned it's energy, it's vibes, it's feeling good, it's creative juices. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest mark and hallmark of your auditions, is if your audition process doesn't feel good and isn't fun, that should be right away. That should be the sign. I'm not doing this right. If it's stressful and haphazard, and if every time it's different and feels like you're all over the place, you're straight up doing it wrong. It should feel like more like drama class or playing on the playground when you were a kid. That's what it should feel like, where you're like, oh, fuck yeah, I get to go have some fun. I get to play with another actor. I get to create my own little mini movie, my own little short story, and see every audition as a performance opportunity and as an opportunity to create, not as an exercise in stress and anxiety. There's enough stress and anxiety in everyone's life right now. Yes. And being an actor isn't for some people, it is a stressful and it can be an anxious thing because of the uncertainty, especially when you're on the come up. But the more things that you can figure out to get in your control or to delegate to someone else, like a session director or like someone who can edit your tape and send it off for you, the less things that you have to worry about. Yeah. And then you just get to focus on you performing, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Love it. So you can book, just to recap, you can book online Zoom sessions remotely where we'll connect with you wherever you are in the world. And you can also book in session in our studio. And Brandon is showing, what are you showing here? What are you popping up?
It's the get tickets at laughingvikings.com/links, but you can also book a session through laughingvikings.com/links.
Right. Okay. So good point. You can book at our website, laughingvikings.com, but on all of our social media, the link in bio, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, or I think even on YouTube, the link on YouTube leads to the booking page. Mm-hmm. So there's a million ways to do it. And if you can't figure it out, you can Google it. And Michael Google will tell you.
Just Google us.
Yes, he will tell you how to do it. But I want to just talk about the categories of things. So we'll hook up remote Zoom sessions where a session director hops on with you. In-studio sessions for those of you who are in a city where we have a physical studio. Also, a lot of our clients now are booking our physical studio for their Zoom sessions with production. So a lot of first auditions and especially callbacks are done via Zoom. But some people don't have a quiet setup at home or any setup, or you don't want to rely on the fact that your crazy neighbors aren't going to be screaming that day, or the jackhammer construction out front's going to be out of control, and you don't want to blow that 5 minutes you have with the casting director. So a lot of our clients, they'll book a studio audition, but it's for their Zoom audition with production. And what happens? They arrive. Say, for example, the Zoom session schedule of production was 12:30. They would book the 12 o'clock spot. So they arrive with half hour's notice. They work with a session director. Brandon will hop in there, run the scene a bunch of times with them so that they don't go into that audition totally cold. You want to go in hot because you might only get one take at it, and you don't have a warm-up take in a lot of times in a lot of these situations. So you want to go in feeling hot, feeling like you've run it. You've already mapped out your eye lines and figured all the camera stuff out, and then you go live. But you're using one of our studios here for that session. The other thing that we can do and help you out with is voiceover auditions. We've got a new voice booth in the back studio there. So if you have voiceovers for animations or video games, just book an audition session as usual, and we'll help you with that. And we can, the other thing that we're doing is you can do a full studio rental where you can not only book the back studio, but you can book the entire studio for your own video shoots. Maybe you got a YouTube channel, you want to do some green screen videos. Shaquille James Hostins did a really smart thing a couple weeks ago where he wants to be submitted for hosting gigs, sort of more direct to camera, like top 10 list kind of pop culture-y kind of things. And so he wrote his own script. We shot a video on green screen. He's an actor and a wrestler, so his was related to The Rock and some superhero movies and some new wrestling events that are coming up. and he wrote a little 1 minute to 2 minute script. We shot it, and now he's got that as a demo. Anytime they're looking for a direct to camera host type, he's got something to show them. But the other thing is, maybe you have a podcast too, and you need a spot that has the equipment and some lighting set up for audio and or video. Maybe you don't want to invite your guests to your mom's basement to come over and do a podcast there, and you want an easily accessible studio. So to do that, you can go to laughingvikings.com/rentals. We might not have a link for that, but you'll find it at laughingvikings.com/links as well. Or you can go directly to laughingvikings.com/rentals, and you'll be able to book the studio there as well. So many ways we can help you out. And we are getting very busy. So always make sure, book in advance. Actors out there, the second you get the breakdown and the audition request from your agent, immediately book that spot. Don't wait for the weekend to pass and then Monday morning with a Monday afternoon deadline, you're trying to squeeze it in, because we are starting to have days where we are booked back to back all day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. But if that's the case, don't worry, because we have Zoom that we can connect. So if the studio was booked, well, there's an unlimited number of Zoom connections. So we'll never not be able to help someone. It just might mean we have to shuffle some people around or squeeze you in between appointments. Or maybe you wanted to come into the studio. If the studio is booked, we'll hook up with you via Zoom as well. So either way, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
We're
here.
All right. What else?
Okay. So let's get into some client shout outs.
Ooh, client shout outs.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we want to share. We got people. We have a bunch of regular members. We have people that are coming here week in, week out. Real community situation. And I'll give a shout out here. This is Jenny Fisher, aka Jenny Fisher from J Fish Fitness. Jenny is a fantastic actor and also is a fitness instructor as well, a certified fitness instructor. And she's actually my personal trainer over the last few months as well, developing my programs. And Jenny Fisher, she's been here multiple times over the years. And she says, great reader, professional quality, prompt sending of tape, smiley face. Thank you, Jenny. And shout out to Jenny. She is not in Toronto right now. She pieced out and she's down in LA. Her and Marcus are her boyfriend, Marcus Tarnoy, is also a fantastic actor as well. So shout out to Jenny Fisher and Marcus. Hope you guys are enjoying LA. And thank you for being a Laughing Vikings regular.
That's great. And let's go to, did we do Ben?
Benjamin Blaze. There he is. Yeah, shout out to Benjamin Blaze from Action Can Films. Ben was also an actor in the CBC Gem series, The Ninth, which was hilarious. He was amazing in that. He's a director. He's a writer. Does a ton of theater. But Action Can Films, they're producing their own action films. And Benjamin Blaze, we call him Benny. I call him Benny. But Benjamin says, great service, affordable rates with a fast turnaround. And for those of you in Toronto, he says downtown, east side, and convenient. Plus, the staff is great. Yeah, shout out to Benjamin.
Like the tiger.
Benjamin, I don't know if he's watching or listening right now, but he messaged me the other day and he was like, I haven't seen you in a while. We're due for a beer. So, Benjamin, I'm ready. You said this week. It's Tuesday, so we got a few days left. Let's do it.
Oh, Cole.
You know Cole?
I know Cole.
Nice. That's yours. You read it.
Fantastic experience, fun atmosphere, awesome quality tape. Cole came in here he came in a couple times about a year ago during the beginning of the pandemic, and we filmed some really great auditions with Cole. Like, there were some really fun ones where he got really into costumes. So much fun to work with. He was a great guy and really a very fun personality to be around.
Yeah, Cole's solid. He's great. Who else we got here? Who else? Oh, Adrian Sawyer. Let's say hello to Adrian Sawyer.
Nice.
Adrian Sawyer, who's a stand-up comic, and he's an actor, and he's also a mailman, although he likes to call himself a mail escort. M-A-I-L. Adrian Sawyer says, I always have a great experience at Laughing Viking Studios.
Yeah, we shot a thing that he wrote a while ago.
Didn't
we? Yeah, I think so. I think it was about 11 months ago.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And then special shout out, scroll one up.
Mm-hmm.
This is a special shout out to Brian Kennington, because I believe today is Brian Kennington's birthday.
Oh,
Brian Kennington, he's an actor. He is a writer.
Yep.
He's a director, done a ton of theater work, and he's got a couple of his own feature films that are in early pre-production right now. We've been scouting locations, and I've been involved in several projects with him.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife, Ray Kennington, is also a fantastic actor as well. Love them both. They're like my surrogate. I say grandparents, but I feel like that's rude because they're not that old. They're probably younger than my dad, but for some reason they have the grandparent vibe to them. Just they're so nice and loving. I'm always giving them hugs when we were allowed to hug people. But Brian says, it was great working with you, Lars. Your advice was well given, and you made the shoot relaxing and fun. And Brian has also rented the studio several times for his casting sessions for his own shoots, where we make the front room the waiting room, and actors are out here, and then he takes them into the back for their auditions. And he rented the whole studio out for a short film shoot recently for his short film, The Scottish Play, which is a little murder mystery thing based on Macbeth.
Okay.
Yeah. Who else we got here?
We got Lori.
Ooh, Lori. Yeah, Lori was just here. Lori's
Friday.
pretty OG. She was just here last week, and it was her first time back in the studio since the pandemic. So we hadn't seen her in 2 years. And Lori has also been a session director with us as well, in studio and via Zoom. And Lori says, amazing, so professional, such good quality. I'm so satisfied with my results. Thank you, Lars. Hashtag Laughing Vikings. All right, shout out to Lori. We love Lori. She's great. And Lori's a great example too of someone who not only is she working hard on her craft, but she's doing everything that she could possibly do to fight for opportunities. She's always making new connections, attending new events, attending new workshops, training. Right now, she's working as an executive assistant at Pinewood Studios. So she's getting the whole behind the scenes of how producers work and connecting to the industry that way too. So shout out to Lori. She's great. She's been crushing it since day one. And let's give the most recent one. You got a most recent one as well.
Oh, okay.
But just want to say thank you for everyone who does give these reviews. We get tons of people in the studio every week. The Google reviews help. If you're listening to the podcast, you can give us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts, or on Facebook. There's also the Facebook reviews on our Facebook page. It really helps. We love hearing from you. We love hearing your success stories as well. So please let us know. We've got a ton of people who have been booking roles, whether it's commercials or TV, film, theater roles. Always, please let us know when you do book those, because that's our favorite thing in the world, is hearing those success stories. And you had a great one on the weekend here, Brandon.
Yeah, with Tom Keat. Brandon was amazing, extremely helpful, and made me produce a product that showcases my authentic me. Good vibes. We'll be back. I loved working with Tom. He was a lot of fun to work with. He reminded me of a young me, to be honest.
Ooh,
a much taller version. But yes, he had such great ideas coming in, and it was just like, okay, well, let's just bring in more of you to this, because yes, you brought in some great choices. Yes, you brought in some really good ideas, but I'm not getting you right now, and I want to see more of you because I know how fun you can be. And he's actually with my old agent, Sean Kaufman. Shout out to Sean. He's a fantastic person with Premier Artist Management. I really loved working with Sean. I really loved working with Premier Artist Management. They're great people. And Tom is a fantastic actor.
Amazing. Yeah. And what you're saying there is often the trap or a tendency, and I know I do it a lot too. It's still something that I'm working on, is we'll perform. So we'll put on a performance that's very actorly, lots of strong choices and bold things, but it feels like a performance. So it's sort of like you're here, and then the character is a layer that you put on, almost like a mask on top of you. Whereas I think when you reach top level, you're stripping all those masks off, and what you're really infusing the character with is you, because it is you. It's not it's a character, but it's you under these given circumstances. So the more, like Tom says, Tom Keats, but also our acting coach, Tom Todoroff, is you want it to be uniquely you. You want to personalize it. You want to pee on it, as he says. So the more of your own vulnerability and your own personality and your own strengths and weaknesses that you can bring to it, almost so that it feels like it should really feel like sometimes, especially the first line or two, like almost like you didn't even know that the person was starting to act, like they're just them, and then it's like, oh, he's doing it, like that kind of performance where you're like, oh shit, he's already started. I thought he was just talking to me like Tom, but Tom has started the scene. This is Tom the character. So yeah, that's a huge note, and I think that's something that everyone can learn from. And I think a lot of the times people are it was a great lesson in conservatory today where the actors who were working, they had sort of put on a performance and it was great, but there wasn't enough of them in it. And that's, I think, what really resonates with production and casting, where they really get a sense like, oh, this guy, this lady, she's fucking amazing, great, really deep, great performance. But you see them you're like, I'm watching a human being be a human being. I'm not watching a human being act like a pretend human being. It's that idea of like acting, when it's done well, should be invisible. It shouldn't feel like, oh, he's being actorly. Oh, look at me, I'm acting now, right? And I know that's a little bit it's a lesson that I still I don't want to say struggle with, but I'm still working on, because a lot of the times I do put on a persona, or I'll put different masks on, rather than deciding like I'm fucking awesome as a regular human being. Just put more of that into all my roles, so that people are like, oh fuck yeah, this Lars guy, let's book him. That was great.
And you are awesome, Lars. I'm just going to say
buddy.
that now. You are awesome.
Thanks, buddy.
Keep going on that train.
Thanks, buddy. You too.
Thank you.
Fist bump me through the lens here.
Sorry, I can't really see you.
Actually, do it again. Do it again. Yes. Yeah, you can check out. Actually, take that link down. I don't think that's the right link any longer. We'll hook up a new link for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got to update you. Let's do so again, for all the actors out there, if you need a hand with your self-submit auditions, you can register and get instant access if you missed it to our 3-part training series called Audition Hero. Go to laughingvikings.com/audition hero, and you can register and get immediate instant access to that. And then that'll also lead you to hop on our waiting list. For those that want to become a member of Actors Audition Club. We just closed the enrollment to our membership. We may be looking at opening it up again sometime late spring, early summer. But you can get on that wait list to be a part of that expansion. And it is almost time, as the winter is thawing and the snow is melting. I'm excited. We're getting close to year 2 of Comedy Alley. That's right. Comedy Alley is coming soon. I'm hoping that we'll be able to do something April 1st. For some reason, April Fool's Day to me sounds like a fun day to do a comedy show.
Yeah.
Probably the regular shows may not start until end of May, June, as the weather gets a little more consistent. I don't really want to be week in, week out wondering whether or not it's going to be pouring rain and whether or not we're going to be rained out. But those of you who want to be a part of those Comedy Alley shows, that we had a brilliant season last summer of doing almost 40 shows. Some of Canada's top comics every week. Nice, intimate environment. Our tickets max out at around 20, 25 people in our intimate outdoor rooftop alley, which you're probably listening like, rooftop alley? What is this guy even talking about? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense until you see it. You got to see it to believe it. And you'll walk out and you'll feel like you just walked through the wardrobe and now you're in Narnia, but you're in Comedy Alley. And you can go to laughingvikings.com/comedy alley, and you can hop on the wait list once we start announcing these new shows. We have a banner for that.
Nope. We have Comedy Alley, or the laughingvikings.com/links, which will also take you to the Comedy Alley page when you click on that in the links page.
Okay, so what you'll do there is join the wait list, and as soon as we start announcing these dates, you'll be the first to know about them. And by being on that wait list, your first show, you're going to get the tickets at 50% off. So all you got to do is go to laughingvikings.com/links, or you can go directly to laughingvikings.com/comedy alley. Put yourself on the wait list. Soon as we have the dates and the shows are booked, you'll be the first to know. And this, you know what? I'm going to say this before the public even knows. This is going to be the VIP wait list. So before we start blasting it all over Instagram, Facebook, you're going to get a direct email saying, hey, this is the date. You want tickets? Here they are. Oh, by the way, as a thank you, your first tickets are 50% off. So you can come join us in Comedy Alley at half price by hopping on that wait list at laughingvikings.com/comedy alley or laughingvikings.com/links, or just click our link in bio on Instagram or Facebook. So many ways. And if you still can't figure it out, you just got to Google it.
Google it.
It's that easy. And if you don't know what that means, then I don't know how you exist as a human being. And chances are you're not listening to this podcast right now because you're a old-timey person who lives on a farm with no electricity.
Or you make your own electricity.
Yeah, you make your own candles. Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add today? Or are we bringing this ship back to port?
Let's bring this ship home because I need to go to bed.
Brandon's got to go to sleep, everyone. Shout out to everyone watching, everyone listening. Make sure to connect with us on all the platforms. Subscribe to the podcast. Thanks for everyone who's been leaving reviews on Google, on Facebook, and on the podcast platforms. And do all the things. Check out Audition Hero, and make sure to sign up for the wait list for Comedy Alley shows. We're doing a lot here. So just hop on board. If you're here now, you might as well be fully on board. Do all of the things. Then you don't have to listen to me say it every week. You can just be like, yeah, this is the part where Lars does the plugs. I did all the stuff already. I'm on all the lists. I subscribed to all the things. I left all the reviews, and you can just zone out for a couple minutes.
What?
Exactly. See, Brandon's done it already. He's subscribed to everything. He's on all the wait lists. He's on all the email lists, and he knows what's up.
I live here now. This is where I sleep.
Yeah, Brandon sleeps behind that backdrop right there.
I wrestle with Luna to find the best spot.
Yes. All right. You've got a quote of the week.
I do. So we like to look at a quote to inspire our upcoming week. So today's quote comes from Kurti Kalueri. Cinema is a reflection of society, and in most cases has the ability to be a mirror and not just show the problems, but also give solutions and help them reach a large number of people through faces and voices that matter.
Boom. Yeah, I think that's very, very pertinent right now. You know, it's like the world's always the best of times, always the worst of times. There's always amazing things happening, and there's always terrible things happening. And there's some scary things happening right now. There was first the pandemic. Now there's the conflict in Russia and Ukraine. Peace and love to everyone there. We're all hoping that resolves itself quickly and peacefully rather than escalating. But that's also the importance of art and of film and cinema and TV. Everyone in times of trouble flocks to stories, and stories are how we shine a light on these kind of events, to highlight history and to highlight all the amazing things that humanity has done, and also to remind us of some of the horrific things that humanity has done. So if you're an actor out there or an artist, keep making your art, keep telling your stories. And that's our mission here at Laughing Vikings, is to uplift, inspire, and empower a global audience of 1 billion people. That's no matter what country you're in, no matter what color you are, no matter what your beliefs and religion are. Hopefully you just believe that you're a human, and that love is better than fear and hate. And our mission is to help actors share their stories via TV, film, and live performances. So continue to tell your stories, continue to share your stories, continue to encourage other people to do so. And in times of trouble like this, be the beacon of hope and light and be the positive person and be the person sharing love and laughter and good things. We don't have control over everything in the world, and we can't impact everything, but you can do your part in your community wherever you are. And as an artist, as an actor, as a stand-up comedian, I feel like super privileged and blessed that every day of my life I can go out there and through stories and through comedy and through art can improve people's lives in a positive manner, and not shoot people and drop bombs on them. So I think that's the lesson. Do what you can where you can. Be the positive person in your community.
I love that. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. We will be back next Tuesday for another look at Laughing Vikings Live. Thank you again for tuning in wherever you are, whatever you're doing. We love you. We appreciate you. Always remember to have your sign out front. One of the best marketing tools.
I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. Blah, 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 blah. Man, Ace of Base. They should be getting. Should we be getting royalties for all this Ace of Base plugging?
Maybe.
Or do we have to pay them?
We could get royalties from Nickelback too, with all the hero stuff we were doing with them.
Exactly. All right, everyone. This has been episode 76. We love all of you, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.